Let's go to One Nation leader Pauline Hanson now joining us live. Thanks for joining us, Pauline. What's your thoughts on 4-year terms?
Okay. I don't want it. Tony Abbott summed it right up perfectly, and your submission of it is very good as well. As I said, if I thought that Albanese was going to go to 2025, I'd say heaven help us, because the policies he puts through, the legislation he puts through, he rams through the parliament, there's no accountability, no consultation with the public, so no, we don't need it. What I would like to see, Chris, is a 3-year set term. Every day, you know, it should be set in stone when we're going to have that election, not to be called at their behest.
Yeah, the states have mainly gone to set terms. They've got 4-year terms, but a set election date. Everyone knows it years out. That would make a lot of sense federally. What about voluntary voting? Surely this is a ridiculous situation where we force people to vote.
Look, I've always supported compulsory voting, but my attitude has changed, because we've got people who turn up at the polling booth, wouldn't have a clue who they're voting for, why they're voting for them. They vote for them purely based on the name. They do a donkey vote. They don't fill out the whole card. They are angry that they have to vote. Allow people to vote who really take an interest in politics, really understand who they're voting for, the policies of the political parties. So I'm sort of turning, only those people who really want to go and vote should be able to vote, not those, because a lot of people, even up north, the Aboriginals, they round them up, they get the voting tickets, they fill them in for the Aboriginals. This is known, even the nursing homes, the unions that are controlling the whole lot. The people in nursing homes don't even know half the time who they're voting for at all. So I think it should be just whoever wants to vote. Don't make it compulsory anymore. And another thing too is Labor Party, they came to me, Farrow came to me a few years ago and he said he wanted to increase the Senate to 14 senators. I think it's totally wrong. You're right, we don't need 12 senators. To have 12 senators in Tasmania is ridiculous, and all they want is a numbers game, and it should not be allowed.
Won't be long before every family has a senator in Tasmania, the way things are going. Interesting point you make about voting on Indigenous communities. I know Jacinta Nampijinpa Price is very hot on that. We'll take that up with her at some stage. I need to get your reaction, Pauline Hanson, to the nomination of Sam Mostyn to be our next Governor-General. Surely she's been too activist on too many causes to go silent as Governor-General.
Totally agree with you, Chris. I thought Peter Cosgrove was absolutely fantastic as Governor-General. I think he did a fantastic job, but this appointment that's given by the Labor Party at the moment, I just don't think it's in Australia's best interest. You know, people say we should have an Australian head of state. Well, we do in our Governor-General. But you know, probably what we could possibly put forward is, instead of the political parties picking their mates, you know, job for their mates, let's look at the Australian people at the election. Why don't we put a few names up? Let the Australian people nominate who they want as Governor-General, let it go on the ballot paper at the time of election, don't have a separate ballot for it, and let the Australian people choose who they want to see as their Governor-General.
And call them a president, then we'd have a republic, Pauline. Hey, just before I let you go, Peter Dutton intimating we're going to hear a lot more detail about the coalition's nuclear policy soon. Do you have any inside word on what the Liberals are going to be proposing?
No, they haven't told me anything, but Peter Dutton, if he wants to bring in nuclear, he should have a talk with Chris Foley, because he doesn't want nuclear. And what I'd like to see is a diversity of power. Do not get rid of the coal-fired power stations before we need to. We can have a diversity of power, whether it's solar, whether it's wind turbines, nuclear. They're going to take years to build. Who's going to pay for this? But we should keep the coal-fired power stations going until we can reduce the power costs to the average family out there, industries, manufacturing, give them cheap power before we actually think about shutting down coal-fired power stations.
Yeah, we seem to have got all that the wrong way around, shutting down our power stations before we have the energy to replace them. Thanks so much for joining us, Pauline. I appreciate your time as ever.